This is a continuation video of 13-1, solving quadratic equations by factoring. When you are solving quadratic equations, always set equation equal to 0, then factor. You have to do that first. They will not always give them to you equal to 0. So we're going to do the next set of notes. Here we go. Number 5. Right off the bat, it is not set equal to 0. So I am going to have to set it equal to 0. A squared plus 5a minus 24. Signs are different. Signs are different. I multiply to get 24. Add to get positive 5. That's the sign of the larger. That means when I go through my factoring, I have a plus 8 and a minus 3. Because a positive 8 and a minus 3 gives me the positive 5. And I still set that equal to 0. That means a plus 8 equals 0. Or a minus 3 equals 0. So a can be negative 8 or a can be positive 3. Okay? And if you checked it, it would be 3 squared equals 24 minus 15. 9 equals 9. That checks out. 64 equals 24 minus plus 40. And that equals 64. So that checked out. So they both checked out. And yes, you have the ability to check them. Okay, looking at this one, I have a 4, I have a 9, that right there, and that right there should tell you that a difference of 2 squares. Okay, because that's y squared, and that's 3, yes? So that's not going to be y minus because there's a middle term. So I'm going to do y squared. And I have same. They're both negative. 9 and 1. So y squared minus 9. And y squared minus 1. That's minus 9 squared. That's minus 1 squared, which would give me the minus 10 squared. That gives me the positive 9. That gives me the y to the 4th. So then, and that's equal to 0. Y squared minus 9 equals 0. Y squared minus 1 equals 0. Y squared equals 9. Y equals plus 3 or minus 3. Because remember, if I put a negative 3 times negative 3, I still get 9. And then y squared equals 1. Y equals plus 1 minus 1. So y can be negative 3 or negative 1 or 1 or 3. And here's the tip-off. If it's to the 4th, there's at most 4 solutions, and sometimes there's 3, sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 1, sometimes you can't find any, but there's the most 4. So if you have y to the 4th, you have to be aware that you might have some squares that give you the negative and positive values. The area of a rectangular room is given by the equation. Here's my that, and I have length times width. So w squared minus 7w equals 18. It just means that I'm going to have, it's a quadratic. W squared minus 18. Going too fast. minus 7w minus 18 equals 0. Signs are different. I especially do this when the coefficient of the leading squared value is 1. Bigger. 9 and 2. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 is 2. So it's x minus, w minus, oh, that's sloppy. Try that again. W minus 9 and w plus 2 equals 0. And so I have w minus 9 equals 0 or w plus 2 equals 0. And I have w minus, equals 9 or w equals 2, negative 2. Okay, where w is the width of the room. So my width could be a 9. Because w is width, yes? Where w is the width. So, can I have the width of 9? Absolutely. Can I have a width of negative 2? No. So your answer is w equals 9 because you don't have, you don't have negative widths. So make sure that even though you go through the entire problem, when you get this as a solution in application problems, that is not a valid solution because you cannot have a negative length. That finishes up 13-1, solving quadratic equations by factoring. One of the things you need to pay attention to is when you go to solve the equations, set them equal to 0, factor like you did in chapter 12 or unit 12, and then make sure your answers are valid.